Hi, this is Chris Williams from Variety. I'm here to do an unboxing of some of the top releases that are coming out for Record Store Day 2024. There are 387 exclusive releases coming out on Saturday, and I do not have 387 to unbox for you. I do have about 25 I'm going to show you that I consider special releases I think you should pick up. So let's get started. First, I've been talking to folks in my circle. Many of them are most excited about this Talking Heads live album. It's live at WCOZ 77, 2 LPs, black vinyl, 8,000 copies, so you have a pretty good chance of picking one up. This was a show that was done for a radio station in studio, originally excerpted on the compilation. The name of this band is Talking Heads, but they used 7 of those tracks. This has the full 14-song show. It's pressed in 45 RPM format, so the main reason for that is for audio quality. 45 RPM gets a little bit more of the bass than 33, so you'll hear Tina a lot more if you pick this up. All right. Next, we'll take a look at a release from the 1975, Matty Healy, In the News. So you can go to your record store on Saturday and pick up Taylor's new album and this album, and see if, they sort of split apart like magnets. This is white vinyl, and there's 7,500 copies, so if Matty has not lost all his fans in the last couple days, this still could be hard to get. But this was, the show was recorded January 2nd, 2023, but date-wise, it's a full album set of their very first album. I'll show you the white, beautiful pristine white, just like Matty's personality, clean as the driven snow. Okay, so that, and last year there was another 1975 album, completely disappeared off the shelves quickly. I never even saw that one in store, so we'll see whether that happens with this one. They pressed a few more copies this time. Okay, this is one of my favorites, Sparks, Number One in Heaven. It's been in print for a while, but what they did was pair this as a twofer with an album that came out the same year in 1979 that Ron and Russell Mael produced themselves, of a female artist named Noel. And this is a very hard album to find, so they've paired these together. I love the packaging on this. It comes in a nice slipcase for both albums. Little cardboard wraparound if you want to keep them together. This is Number One in Heaven, the album they did that was produced by Giorgio Moroder, very influential in the electronic pop community. And then we'll take this off, and on the other side is the Noel album, Is There More to Life Than Dancing? I have not heard this. It's a very legendary cult album. Some people thought Noel was not a real person, but or that she was Sparks doing a sped up voice or something. But Noel did release a second album after this, and then kind of disappeared into obscurity. So apparently she's a real person. We're going to find out how this is. But anyway, I love getting this twofer. Very nice. A lot of people get excited about David Bowie releases when they're done for Record Store Day. Rhino has one this year. I think it's Rhino. No. Okay, forget which label. But Waiting in the Sky, Before the Starman Came to Earth. This is an alternate version of the Ziggy Stardust album. It was put together as a temporary track listing before he thought better of it and changed everything in the beginning of 1972. Not changed everything, but there are 4 songs on this album that are not on the finished Ziggy Stardust album. They all came out eventually, I think, but Velvet Goldmine is one of them. And then there's a cover of a Chuck Berry song, Round and Round, cover of a Jacques Brel song, Amsterdam. So very significantly different track listing, which is kind of fun when that happens, when they dig up, the album that could have been. And you can see the inner sleeve has some copies of the tapes, or the real boxes. And, okay, that's black vinyl. Next, the Doors are a perennial of Record Store Day. Last year there was a Live in Bakersfield album from 1970. The sound quality was not for everyone. I know some people bought that collection and they weren't excited that, you know, you had to take it as it was. This album, I think, will satisfy everyone, from what I understand. And we know that because it's been widely bootlegged. And people love it, and they've always said, why has the Stockholm show from 1968 not gotten an official release? Well, now it has. It's a 3-disc set. And the sound quality was supposed to be good to begin with. And this says that it's newly mixed by Bruce Botnick from the original multi-tracks. So multi-track gives you a one-up on Bakersfield to begin with, and then Bruce Botnick is going to make this one shine. The official listing said it was a box set. This doesn't look like a box to me, but it is a very nice gatefold fold-out with a little bit of liner notes about the history of the project. So this is going to be a very popular item. And let me double check, but yes, this is one of the few releases this year that's coming out on LP and CD. So if you're one of those people who shows up at Record Store Day, I don't have a turntable, is there anything for me? The answer is yes. Not a lot in the way of exclusives, but the CD version on 2 CDs is 8,000 copies. This 3 LP version is 6,000 copies. Now, I noticed on the back, it says limited edition of 11,500, so that's presumably worldwide. Half the copies are going out to North America, and the other half are going somewhere else. But that one could disappear. All right, now an actual box set, as built, and this is a very spiffy looking one. It's Wilco, The Whole Love, a retrospective of their 2011 album, spread across 3 LPs, but they didn't do a 45 RPM deal to have 2 songs per side. The album's on the first 2 LPs, and then LP 3 is bonus tracks. I haven't listened to all of this, but I can tell you that most of the bonus tracks, well, about half the bonus tracks, are from an iTunes session. Some of them are on side 6, are demos or early roughs. And a fun aside, there is a collaboration with Nick Lowe on his Cruel to Be Kind, which originally came out, I think it was filmed as an Austin City Limits, excuse me, maybe in 2012, something like that, and then came out as a Record Store Day single that quickly sold out, maybe 2019, something like that. So that's finally back in print as part of this elaborate box set. And let's open it, just see how nicely it slides out. Nice embossing. I think you'll get your money's worth with this. One of those peekaboo covers. All right, disc 1. And quite a bit of band-generated artwork here, I think. If there's anything else in here. Like this. Ooh, a nice booklet. How about that? All right. Well, I wish I could tell you who did all the artwork here. I'm not sure whether it's the band, but full lyrics, very artsy, very cool. All right, that is Wilco. That will be Hawa. And let me just look. That's 4,500 copies, so there'll be a few of those going around. All right, Elton John. Elton John loves a Record Store Day, and Record Store Day loves him. And so he has something from his catalog almost every time. And typically it is 1 disc, the original album, and then a 2nd disc of rarities or never before released material. And oftentimes people think, well, that seems so special, surely he'll put out a regular edition of that after the Record Store Day exclusive. And then he doesn't. So typically if you miss these, you lost your shot. So this is the Caribou album, and the bonus tracks are interesting. Like the first track on side 3 is Pinball Wizard, which was contemporary with this period. But then there's some other oddities, like a new radio mix, quote unquote, of The Bitches Back from 2024. So I believe this is blue vinyl, yes. Very pretty. Both discs are blue. A lot of Beatles action this year. Now this is not the official Ringo Starr Record Store Day release, but this is an exclusive single at Amoeba, so if you happen to be in Hollywood, they may still have copies of this when you get there. This is 2 songs from the EP that Ringo has coming out on Saturday. February Sky is the name of this particular single. So if you are one of the millions of people headed to Amoeba, you can look for this beautiful disc. Okay, moving on to other Beatles. John Lennon, the Mind Games EP. This is a preview of an Ultimate Edition coming out later this year of the Mind Games album from 1973. And of course there have been previous quote-unquote Ultimate Editions of a couple of John's earlier albums. This one has the title song. One of my favorites is on here, kind of in obscurity. His version of I'm the Greatest, featuring George, Ringo, and Klaus Voormann, which of course Beatle fans know Ringo recorded and put out in 1973. So this was John had actually written it in 1970 for himself, then rewrote it to be funnier for Ringo. Apparently it wasn't that funny originally. And so anyway, we'll get to hear a new mix of a John Lennon-led I'm the Greatest, which is kind of fun if you're into the Beatles solo catalogs. And just want to say, this is a glow-in-the-dark disc. I'm not going to turn off the lights. We're going to have to take it on faith that this disc glows in the dark. But also be mindful, if you're looking for this, that there are 2 versions of this in stores on Record Store Day. One on black vinyl for traditionalists who think they're going to get cooties from the chemicals in the glow-in-the-dark disc. But I think most people are going to want a record that glows in the dark, because that's just kind of the Record Store Day way, just to have some novelties happen. All right, the Ramones, the 1975 Sire demos. This is very cool. This material has been previously released as part of a box set centered around their debut album, but this is the first time that the material has come out separately and individually. And personally, I just love the cover. This is probably my favorite Ramones cover of all time. You can see the band on the subway, and the other people do not seem pleased to be around the Ramones, who are not known at that time. And even if they were famous, these people would still not be pleased about it. So it's a hilarious photo. Some of these songs made it to the first album, many of them didn't. So these are some pretty rare items on here. There's like a hilarious little thing on the back here. Tommy Ramone produced this album, and there's like a little reproduction here on the back cover of a message he sent out when he was trying to introduce people to the Ramones, get people in the industry excited. And I'll just read you a little bit of it. It says, "The Ramones all originate from Forest Hills, and kids who grew up there either became musicians, degenerates, or dentists. The Ramones are little of each. Their sound is not unlike a fast drill on a rear molar." So, pretty good description of the Ramones. And I love the color of vinyl on here, which is black splatter on clear vinyl. You can't beat some good black splatter. So look for that Ramones item.
Cut.